this is how you would receive the door. Of course, once you have removed it from the package and once you have removed the top cover. There are no accessories connected to it. Just the motor is connected to the control panel. You begin by fixing the door on the wall or on the metal structure you have. You will have to drill holes in the middle of the doors. There's a line you can see. You drill several holes, more or less 50 centimeters from one another. So the number of the holes depending, of course, on the length of the door. Okay. Next step is to mark the center of the door. You find the center of the door, and as you can see, the two doors are not perfectly matching in the middle because we have not yet adjusted the mechanical stopper. So there's a mechanical stopper dedicated for the closing of the door. You adjust it in such a way that the two doors perfectly match in the middle. The same applies for the opening of the door. There is a mechanical stopper dedicated for the opening of the door. It is positioned to allow the maximum opening of the door. You can adjust it a little bit. Of course, if you wanted the door to open in the middle, open less than what it is possible to open, you just move the mechanical stopper much further towards the center of the door. Now the next step, once the door is being fixed and the mechanical stoppers have been adjusted, is to move on with the self-learning of the programming. First thing to do is to bring the power supply to the control panel. As you can see, once you've plugged in the control panel, the power supply, you will have 3 LEDs coming on. Now, to start the procedure, you have a red button called memo button. You press that once, and the door would close and reopen automatically. Now the next step is that of pressing the black button there. That is to verify that the proper learning has been done. You press it once to close the door, once to open, and once to close again. So now we have verified that the automatic learning has been carried out properly. We now begin the wiring up of all the accessories I just mentioned. We begin by removing the power supply, just for safety. We take out the connector for the multifunction selector. We wire up the multifunction selector to the connector we just removed and plug it in. Okay. Very simple. To connect the 2 microwave sensors. You remove the black connector, and that is the place where you put the power supply to the sensor. Both of them, of course, will be connected there. For the sake of time, we will only connect one sensor. So that is the power supply, and then the command wire goes to this white connector, and as you can see, there's a contact for the internal and one for the external. So The two command accessories would go there. One for the internal and the other one for the external. Next step is to connect the photocells. Photocells, again, you have positive and negative, and they would go to the same connector where we connected the microwave sensor. The microwave sensor, that is the power supply, brown for the positive and blue for the negative, and then the black wire, the command of the photocells goes to the Y connector. You remove the jump bridges that we put because these are normally closed contacts, and it goes to the contact photo that is next to the stop on the left hand side. Last set of accessories to be connected are the batteries. We're going to position the batteries in the provided space. Connect the two batteries in series. As I said, the cables are provided with the door. Connector of the batteries is on the same connector, the black connector, where, as I said, you have the power supply for the microwave and for the photocells. As you can see, lights, LEDs are on, even though the power supply is not present. Also, the multifunction selector is active. It is in manual. Photocells are active. As you can see, if you cut the beam, it is indicated here on the control panel. If we activate the radar, also the radar is active. It goes without saying that all these cables dangling down and not being properly positioned is because we haven't drilled the proper passage in the door. You would have to drill an appropriate hole next to the microwave sensor. Then, depending on where you have the power supply and where you would put the commands, you can drill one or more holes just next to the control panel. Now we've finished with the connection, we've finished with the programming, and the door is ready to work. The door, of course, can work, as we said, even just with a battery backup. As you can see, the selector is in automatic mode, meaning the door can work in both directions, entrance and exit. We go to the microwave sensor and the door opens. If we intervene on the photocells when the door is closing, the door will reopen. Then if we put the sensor on manual, forgive me, the multifunction selector in manual, it means that you can actually operate the door manually in case of maintenance or some technical checkups. We can also have the door in open position. The door will open and will remain open. Then we have also the choice of using the door only in exit, meaning that only the radar in exit can work and can command the opening of the door. Last one is the night sensor, and that means that neither of the sensor will be working, but the door can only be commanded by a manual command. That's all. The last operation is, as you can see, the sensor is not working. The last operation would be that of putting the cover on the control panel. As I said before, of course, once you have positioned all the wires, all the cables. If we wanted to adjust a series of parameters such as speed, deceleration, and so on, you can use the programmer. The programmer is basically connected in the same place as the multifunction selector. It's just a matter of unplugging the multifunction selector and plug it in the programmer. As you can see, it is now in automatic mode. Let's say that the best thing is to read the manual to understand all the possibilities for the programmer.